We talk about B Corp, or we talk about the values of B Corp a lot in what we do, and people can get involved as much as or as little as they want. But they also have a lot of opportunity. Like tonight, it's not just paddleboarding, it's paddleboarding and litter picking. And we kind of, I don't know, in most years, then we do this massive long walk, 28 miles around Tunbridge Wells, and raise great funds for sort of different charities. We jump out of planes, we've got marathons, we've got all sorts of different things, kind of a whole schedule of different activities that we do as part of Yo-Yo. And if you're part of Yo-Yo, you get to experience all of that element as well, and be part of something, part of something greater than sort of the part of its sums.
It wasn't a drive to use B Corp to make us change and do things. We were actually already doing a lot of the things that gave us B Corp status. But what B Corp does do is it gives us a framework to help us focus on where we get maximum impact, because their framework is designed to do that, right? So first, carbon neutrality, then carbon negativity. And then the third milestone is we offset the carbon for every member of staff that joins. So our impact is then beyond just our business. That's important. So we've achieved that. The selection criteria for our partners and our suppliers, we're much more mindful about how we do that because of B Corp. The criteria that we meet requires us to vet partners and suppliers in a certain way.
But we are still in the business of selling stuff to people that consumes more. So I'm trying to work out how we can have a positive impact, not just on human beings, but on the wider world. Because we are, I don't know if you saw my LinkedIn post, but it was, I had this realization that we're all going down the river in a very strong current. And there's lots of human beings. All the human beings are in this river going down a strong current. And at the end is a waterfall. And we're all heading for that waterfall. And yes, it's great. I've developed a company where I'm creating wonderful human beings all around me. And they're doing great work with other human beings. And we'll make lots of happy humans. But we are all going over a waterfall. And that's what the future holds for us. How can we do more to help educate others and other big businesses to help change that current and at least slow down the current, because there is more that we could all do. And so that to me is what the future is. We'll keep creating wonderful human beings who want to have that positive impact on the wider world.
What planting trees does is they sequester carbon, so they draw carbon out of the atmosphere. And so to do it at scale, I think for us as a business, based on our calculations, we need to plant about 700 trees a year to offset the carbon that we emit as a business through travel, through office, through systems, through that kind of stuff. And so for me, signing up to the Million Tree Pledge was actually standing up and saying, we're taking this stuff really, really seriously. We're actually taking it so seriously, we can deploy a large amount of capital to actually get these trees planted. And I think so far we're at 267,000. And so that seems to be growing each year. So I think by the end of this year, we'll hopefully be pushing 400,000. And then I think it's, there's some companies, there's, Crystal, who do really green web hosting, they have committed to planting 1 billion trees, which is beyond my purse and my sort of comprehension. But I think there is a whole group of businesses doing this, and I think overall the net positive, there's going to be worse legacies for businesses to have than planting 1 million trees, right?
Just one more practical thing, for example, around the B Corp piece. Because we've moved to remote first working over the last sort of 6 months, most people are at home, right, to state the obvious. So everyone's got their own carbon footprint score. and we've all set ourselves like sort of targets at how can we improve our carbon footprint. And that's everything from how many clothes we buy to where we shop to kind of how often we'll get Amazon deliveries and stuff like that, that, you know, stuff you do at home, right? Stuff that's just everyday living. So driving the behaviours at home that really impact culture. So we've actually got an overall company carbon footprint score as well, which we're working with ecology to look at offsetting. I mean, you know, and to sort of reduce, so even things like our servers and our hosting provision, all of that stuff, trying to work towards a common goals.